Welcome in once again, Lings and Queens. This is the IG LAN event #1, brought to you by Gosu.com at Red Bull and Steel Series. We are down here at Cyberground. Red Mage, exciting time.
Are you doing that accent on purpose, or are you doing it just to confuse?
I'm doing it because your mic is screwing with me.
Oh, it's just already messing me up, man. I keep you doing that already. But yeah, we're right here at Cybergrounds for our first ever LAN event here. Of course, we were here most of the times watching me get my my little tail kicked in half the time. But of course, we're here live now for our first LAN event. We're going to be watching VT's Avalo take on Muffley in our first matchup here. How's that sound to you?
It sounds absolutely great. I'll tell you what, though, we got to turn your mic down because it's feeding way back into my headphones. That was the purpose of the little funny accent at the beginning. That doesn't matter, though. Again, we're jumping right into the matchup here. We're going to have VT Avalo taking on Muffley. Once again, I'm AC, and that's Red Mage JR, and this is the IG LAN event #1, brought to you by Gosu.com, Red Bull Steel Series, and of course, all of our normal sponsors: Hypocrite Games, Cyberground.us, Max Integration, and San Yamabushi Jujutsu and Combination Goju Ryu School of Self-Defense. Check them out online at sanyamabushi-goju.com. So, Red Mage, well, looks like we're about ready to jump in here, right?
We are ready to go. We're kicking off right now. We're getting getting everything going down, and boom, there we go. Yep, we're good luck. Have fun, everybody. How's that? Is that better? Is the mic still messing up, or is it good? Much better. All right, cool. So yeah, there you go. So we want to thank everybody for joining us live in the Just TV chat, as well as live here at Cybergrounds, where everybody's kind of hanging out and enjoying the fine couches that we have provided available to.
Right. But yeah, it's going to be a hell of a matchup here. VT Avalo taking on Muffley. Muffley I'm not terribly familiar with, but we're going to have a little TVT action. And as we both know, Avalo's kind of strong at TVT, kind of a strong player.
Oh yeah, with Avalo, we always kind of jest a little bit that he's always into these really long, drawn-out, turtling style Terran matches. But the last time he was in an IG event, he really made us shut up by really putting on a lot of early Hillian pressure, really showing us what a quick game he could have. But then he immediately can transition right into those long turtling style games with big defensive, big offensive siege tank pushes.
Oh yeah, he's definitely added a few things to his repertoire, so to speak. We're seeing a lot more Hellions, even a few Marines out of him, which is, if you know Avalo at all, you do know that Marine play out of him early on is just not something he's terribly known for. But he still excels so well at picking things up there in the mid game and just kind of churning out the tanks out of mass factories. And he's the type who tanks. Most people tend to use them as kind of a support unit. You get a few tanks and you try and take control of the map. Avalo will push you with a 15 tank 2 Hellion, 10 Marine mix, and he will just shove it down your throat and dare you to try and break him. And he loves to get out and build missile turrets in the middle of the map. And he's so strong, and he has always done well at these Cyberground events.
Oh yeah, he does such a great job at taking map control. And Muffley, I recognize him from being here previously, but I've not actively watched a lot of his matches. He is kind of going for, right now it's at the beginning of the game, so everybody's kind of doing everything exactly the same. I guess the only thing we can really say is that he was about, a half a heartbeat behind in making the refinery, I think, but I don't think that's going to make or break the game styles here.
Oh, no. Both players just kind of getting up and getting things set up standard here. Both got the gas up on time. Orbital command going to be going down right on time for both players as well. So, yeah, and that looks like, easing into things here. We got a big prize pool on the line. Great sponsor. Special thanks, by the way, once again, the Steel Series and Red Bull. Red Bull dropping off a good amount of product for us to pass out. So we got nothing but hyper nerds hanging out here at Cyberground. And, But yeah, so we see the scout making its way in now from Muffley. Not going to see much out of the ordinary. Not going to be able to take a whole hell of a lot away from this, other than just a standard opening. Not going to be any sort of fast expand. Avalo not really known for a fast expand.
He did steal himself one of them there, crystals. Oh, he got killed.
Yeah,
I was trying to pull the crystals. So that's 5 full minerals Avalo won't be able to use. That's going to set him back. Never.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, on a map like Testbug, too, TVTs are so fun to watch on Testbug because you can really kind of take two differentiating styles. You can try and just siege out and push down the map. As we know, this is a pretty symmetrical map. It's 3-cornered, so pretty much no matter where you spawn, it's going to look the same as where you spawn in any other situation, even relating to how your opponent spawns. But most importantly, you can see games where they start to kind of race to that open, vacated corner and try to fast expand or try to build macro up that way, and it turns the entire map into a war zone. So, or a lot of times you'll just see players move out, take their expansion, then try to expand towards their opponent, race, and see who can get map control the quickest.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely. I had to turn off the stream in my ear because it was getting really bad with the feedback.
Yeah,
but
I
can hear the voices in my head. But we see a little push out right now from Muffley. He's going to go ahead and send out a little handful, about 4 Marines or so, to try to take a little bit of map control, hit up these. That's the one thing I do like about Testbug is you do have these little all those Onaga towers in the corner areas are all covered by rock. So the destructible debris, you've got to take those out in order to really see the middle of the map and really get a good visual on things. But he's going to take the center console right now and really see what's going on. And we see that SCV coming out to scout for Avalo. And at the same time, he's getting that Infernal Pre-Igniter with those Hellions. Of course, he's going to go for his Starport. That means he's instantly going to go right for those Hellion drops that are so devastating.
But now we've got Banshees on the way. We see Cloak being researched by Muffley right now. No Banshees in production as of right now, but he does have the Cloak research on its way, so very, very important here for Muffley. He's going to have to make this count. Avalo is favoring that Infernal Pre-Igniter. We've been seeing a lot more of that out of him, more so than in past. He's getting the medevac as well, so a little bit of harassment-based Hellion play not going to be ruled out whatsoever. And got a little supply depot here hidden in the trees. I was thinking that might be something cute that he hid there, but nope, just a supply depot. But yeah, right now, until that Banshee comes out, Muffley's going to be extremely, extremely vulnerable. He's only got 7 Marines guarding that ramp, no bunker, and as soon as the Blue Flame finishes, and we see Avalo moving out now, so he's going to be leading the way with these 2 Hellions, and really Muffley's going to have to be very, very careful. That first Banshee almost done, but if he doesn't use it just right, these Hellions are just going to reap absolute havoc on Muffley.
Oh yeah, you can see Muffley right now making that. He was making the adjustment. He was going to get ready to add in a bunker, but it looks like he canceled it just because it wasn't going to get finished in time. So there's no use in wasting time with that. He is going to get himself, that engineering bay down too, as well, so that way he can start putting up missile turrets, prevent any sort of drops or anything like that. We do see that single Banshee is making its way up the left side of the map right now, but of course it's going to get spotted by that lone supply depot hidden in there in the trees. And, actually, maybe not. It's going to probably make its way around.
Cloak's finished now, but the Raven's almost out for Avalo, so going to be a little bit of a wasted chance here by Muffley. I mean, he got it out pretty quick. It's about out on time. Not sure what Avalo saw to indicate that this was coming, but he's going to suffer a little bit of harassment. Now the Raven makes its way over. Muffley's going to spot that.
We just see that drop just came down, too, for Avalo right in the main base. He's making his way into the mineral line right now, and death and destruction all over the place as those SCVs crumble to pieces, burned to shreds. And that one Banshee is there, just finished, just in time to start taking things out. And a couple of Marines come to try to take out that medevac as those Hellions load up and try to pull away.
Oh yeah, this Banshee's Cloak now, still trying to do some harassment. It's actually, he's actually going to lose this Banshee. Good bit of miss micro there by Muffley. Avalo reacting just fine, getting the Marines. So a lot of free damage there, really. I mean, he lost a few workers and a handful of Marines to Muffley's Banshee harass, but I'd say without a doubt, Avalo coming out way, way ahead in terms of the harassment there. If we go now to the income tag, we can see, yes, right now Avalo's up, almost 13 harvesters.
Avalo's getting ready to make another drop, too. He went ahead and re-queued it right back around over there on the left-hand side of that refinery, and we see that he is just kind of hanging out right now. Didn't drop him. That's kind of dangerous, because I don't know if that's actually within Muffy's sight range. Let's check Muffy's sight range here real quick. It does not look like it.
No, it's just right outside.
Just outside. It's a great map awareness, knowing exactly where things are going to go, and we see that Muffy is going to go ahead and make his first assault right in here He's got that one SCV, which, you know, not really set up there for tanking damage too much, but I would have thought that he would have left that there to build, you know, bunker or done something.
Well, right now, this Viking for Avalo really going to be the hero unit. It changes the complexion of this matchup entirely when these armies collide. The Banshees of Muffley going to be all but neutralized. In fact, Muffley's going to take that as his cue to walk on back home and try to regroup. He knows that if he pushes now, he's going to be on the losing end of things. And in the meantime, that orbital command is completed for Avalo. So Avalo looking to take quite a decent little economic lead. At the same time, he's dropped again. We see all those SCVs pulling back. In fact, it looks like he managed to pick off quite a few more. So back to that 13 harvester lead for Avalo. Avalo just really being all over the map and reading his opponent perfectly.
Oh yeah, you know, he in that entire set of drops, I think that he killed 11 workers to the 6 workers that Muffley's been able to kill. So, you know, great dropping there by Avalo, being able to look at everything that's been going on at the same time. You know, dropping you know, right after.
Well, here come 2 Banshees. They're going to move in. They're going to be spotted immediately. Though they're going to cloak. The Viking's not going to care though. He's got the Raven. 1 Banshee falls. The other going to try and run away now. So Muffley really just being thwarted at every turn, not having the best chance to make use of that Banshee tech he's invested so much into.
Yeah, and that's kind of a real bummer because that is a very expensive technology to get. We do see that Avalo just went ahead and loaded up yet another fully loaded medevac with those Hellions, so he's going to come around on the right-hand side, it looks like. So he's going to choose a different kind of assault path, maybe try to throw Muffley off at one time, or he could try to drop on both sides simultaneously. With Avalo's skills, he does have the ability to make simultaneous drops like that and really throw off his opponent.
Well, a big part of this is just scouting. He's trying to get, you know, take a look around the map, make sure his opponent hasn't done anything crazy like hide a command center. Avalo has to know at this point that he's quite far ahead, and he just kind of has to play steady to secure the win here. But so he wants to make sure that there's nothing going on that he hasn't spotted that's possibly going to allow his opponent to pull right back into things. So we see this little Marine Marauder ball with the Banshee and, you know, a couple Banshees in a medevac, kind of a kitchen sink sort of a composition here out of Muffley, hanging out in the middle. But Avalo just miles and miles ahead now. His expansion's been up and mining for some time. The command center for Muffley not even complete yet. So Avalo, this is just his style. You know, he plays consistent, he plays solid, and he does everything he can to just say, okay, that's fine. I don't have to go and win in the first 10 minutes. I don't have to go and win in the first 5 minutes. All I want to do is make sure you don't damage me, or if we do damage to each other, I come out ahead. And then he can just ride that to a victory.
Just put the other drop right in there, too. We can see that there was like, oh, my goodness, what a great job. Those SCVs pulled right off just in time to line up perfectly with those Hellions with the blue flame, and he managed to pretty much rack everything.
45 harvesters to 9 now of Muffley. It looks like, yeah, it barely got down there to spot that in time. And you know, and now he's not even done yet. Going to pick off another couple of units there down at the expansion. Really, at this point, it's GG. I mean, what can Muffley do to bounce back with 10 harvesters, 9 harvesters now? He's even going to lose the mule. So, you know, at this point, he's going to be hanging on, but pretty much for nothing. In fact, if he wants to try and get back in this, he needs to push now. The more time that passes, the stronger Avalo's going to get. And really not a whole lot he can do. And Avalo really just abusing these Hellion drops so well, and managing to shut down the Banshee harass out of his opponent, Muffley. I mean, this is really just a great winning strategy for any TVT matchup.
Oh yeah, and the last thing you want Avalo to get a hold of is tanks, massive amounts of tanks, because that is the unit that is his bread and butter capacity right there. Because he will just ultimately use that to completely decimate the map, really take a strong hold on it, and it's like having a preventive defense. You just kind of lay it there and hope that nothing can get by you. And we just see that Avalo is going to go ahead and start rolling a couple of units out just to kind of check out what's at the tower over there. Sees that small little force. You know, he doesn't know if that's the true force, if there's a flanking force, that kind of a thing. So, you know, he's got to do a little bit more looking around, maybe drop some scans everywhere.
Well, again, at the... you know, Avalo has to know at this point. He did so much damage with those Hellion drops. He's got to know just how far behind his opponent is. And it looks like he's just, you know, and this is his style. This is how he kind of earned that reputation of playing super slow to the point of almost being annoying even to watch, is the fact that he doesn't care. He doesn't push before he's ready to. These Banshees, wow, looks like little to no reaction there. Now he's going to use the scan, pick off one of the Banshees. The Raven and the Banshees were a bit out of position, so he loses 1 tank there. But this tank count for Avalo very, very high already, up to 10 tanks. He's got the Banshee and the Viking support as well as a good number of Blue Flame Hellions, actually almost 16 Blue Flame Hellions, so 15 of them on the field right now. And really at this point he can pretty much A-move himself to a win whenever he chooses.
Oh yeah, with this amount of this big of an army right now. And there's all these little cluster points there that are just going to funnel all of Muffley's stuff right into the line, right for those Hellions. Awesome. Now you see there's tanks are sieging up. Unbelievable right now.
Oh yeah, the Hellions leading the way. Going to make this happen for Avalo. He doesn't really, and again, just playing so very cautious, hanging back. He's going to lose one Hellion to the Banshee there. He's going to try and goad all these Marines and Marauders in. And, Muffley's got to know, if he's going to do something, he has to do it now. We see the point defense drone nullifying this Banshee, at least for the moment. Now the Raven going to move forward. But yeah, Avalo just playing so solid, and as you can tell, the tank count of 1 for Muffley not going to hold up to the tank count of 1 billion for Avalo. Actually, a tank count of right around 11. So Hellion's going to move in and finish this up, and this is going to be GG. Should be seeing it any moment now.
Oh yeah, because once he starts rolling in with those tanks, it's all over. It's just unbelievable right now. Those Vikings taking out that Raven, and there's the GG there by Muffley, and we'll move into the next roundup there at the first DC IG LAN event here at Cyberground, casting live. I'm Red Mage Jared. With me, as always, my bromancer, AC.
Oh yeah, that's me, my friend. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much to everyone hanging out with us in the stream and the BattleNet chat. Well, if you happen to be in the Fairfax area, make sure you stop on by and say hi to us. This is the IG LAN event #1, brought to you by Gosu.com, by Red Bull, by SteelSeries, and of course by all of our normal advertisers, Hypocrite Games, Cyberground.us. That's where we are, so check them out online. Get the directions. Come down and see us and hang out for a while. Max Integration, and of course Sanya Mabushi Jujutsu and Combination Goju Ryu School of Self-Defense. You can find them at sanyamabushi-goju.com. So we are going to be running a double elimination tournament today. Going to have so many games, and we've got so many good players. Lucky Fool, Revolution, Orb, so many guys, and I can't wait to see what else we got on the docket for the evening, Red Mage.
Absolutely. Dockets and such. We're actually going to be starting off our second matchup is going to be at the MLG Shakuras. I don't know. It feels weirder to be doing it here live. I mean, as many times I've casted live here at Cyberground, it's way different now because now we have like a much larger audience that are actually looking at us.
Oh, yeah.
It's a little bit nerve-wracking. It's almost like last week when I was trying to do the match between Orb and myself, and it was the first time I'd ever been casted in my life. And being so close, it was just absolutely unreal. I can absolutely see where people's nerves get shot, because not only are you, is everybody talking about you? And I invited you to go.
Oh, okay. My bad.
We're waiting on you. What are you doing? Yeah, but it's just one of those things where I can feel everybody behind me just looking at me, staring at what I'm doing. It's completely unnatural.
Right. Well, it's interesting for me. We cast so many events. I'll pop the calendar up now for those who aren't familiar with us. We do 20 events a month. 15. Actually, we've increased that now with the addition of our new sponsor. So $2,500 in cash and prizes given away just April through June. July is going to kick off our summer series. We're going to have even more events. You can find this calendar, by the way, at Gosu.com. Check that out. No matter what your skill level is, we got some events for you, something you're going to enjoy. But as many of these as we do, it's still it's unique to me to finally be doing. We did it last weekend, but it's a little different. We're running our entire operation here by ourselves, and it's just an absolute pleasure to be here. But it is, I'm like you. I can see how it could be a bit nerve-wracking, just because it's a little bit of a different experience for us, even.
Helped you jam up? Helps if I have the sound up just a little bit, so I don't throw myself off there.
Yes, folks, we're working through our own audio issues. Our very first one, we were actually going to try and have a video feed for you of Red Mage and I on cam. That didn't quite work out, but we're hoping everything is going right in the stream. Everything's happy. So this is game 2 of VT Avalo taking on Muffley Avalo, able to just basically harass his opponent to death. Multiple Hellion drops led to a very convincing win. Actually had a 40 Harvester lead on Muffley at one point in that game, right around the 12-minute mark. So Avalo going to live up to his reputation. Just such a steady player, a guy who doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and a guy who's going to happily trade blows with you just because he thinks he can find the small advantages and make big advantages of them.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely right about that, AC. There's so much can go right and wrong in any sort of game matchup, especially when you're playing somebody like Avalo. He's a very tricky character to play against, because it's Avalo. You've seen him play countless times, and you know the style of player he is. And as soon as you think you've got him all mapped up, all of a sudden he pulls some sort of drop or dual drop or does something just out of the ordinary for his particular long-standing play style. So, oh yeah, I hope someone actually like showing stuff on the map. That would be good too.
Yeah,
you guys can see nothing here at Cyber Guy. So as we're watching, right now, Avalo, of course, doing what everybody does. You put down your barracks, put down your thing, get your orbital command, do your gas, that kind of thing. So, there's not a whole lot to really.
That's kind of the one thing that sucks about watching a player as good as Avalo is. This is his kind of, he doesn't do anything crazy, doesn't tend to one racks fast expand, doesn't tend to two starport Banshee, doesn't tend to do any of that. You're just going to see very standard stuff out of him most of the time. So we don't get to get excited until about the 8-9 minute mark the majority of the time.
Oh yeah, it's they'll do a couple of scouting runs here and there, but nothing super bad. The one thing you always got to watch out. Oh wow, we get to see a fast expand here out of Muffley. That's going to be great. You did the standard one rack fast expand.
Well, yeah, pretty much the standard. I mean, yeah, he actually went off of no gas. So yeah, that's going to be a pretty standard one rack fast expand. I like that he's floating this down. He's going to try and get some kind of a defensive wall up. Problem is, when you're taking on a player like Avalo, who, and again, this wasn't always something he favored, but his TVT has really started to be a very Hellion-centric or Hellion-oriented early game and early mid-game, and you're going to be very vulnerable to that unless you get a wall up. And even if you wall off completely, and it looks like that's what Muffley's trying to do, planting that second barracks right in tight next to that first barracks. But even if he walls this off entirely, he's going to be so susceptible to drops, and he's going to have a hard time defending it with just Marines, especially if Avalo decides to go up to the blue flame. But I like this out of Muffley for one reason. He really just did not look like he shaped up well against Avalo's typical play style, going head-to-head that way with the Banshee and the Hellion play out of both players. So by doing something like this, he's going to try and change it up. He's going to try and make it maybe more of a dice roll. And it's not to say Muffley's a bad player, but Avalo is a very, very good player, and there aren't that many of those.
Right, and I'm really hoping that this pays off for Muffley, because he's going to have a little bit of an advantage here if he can take advantage of what he has done. He's of course not really wasting time, but he's floating it over right now. Then he's going to have to convert it to an orbital command, so he's going to be a little bit behind on making double the SCV. So it's kind of tricky right there. He had a huge lead advantage with that. Avalo of course put his expansion down directly in the spot he didn't have to float it over. So you're gonna have to send a little bit more SCVs over there to kind of bring it up a little bit faster. But he's done a great job. He's thrown down the triple barrack wall that I'm not a huge fan of, because I don't like having to raise your unit producing structures out to get the rest.
Wait,
of
it doesn't look like he's actually going to float this over. I think he's going to leave. Is he? Nope. Yeah, he's going to keep that open. So he's creating kind of an artificial choke here. But doing a wall in like this against the Terran opponent, especially one like Avalo, who we all if you're familiar with his play at all, you know how tank centric he is. By the time he hits that 10 to 12 minute mark, you're going to see a lot of tanks, not just some tanks. Ooh, a Reaper now from Avalo, going to make it into the mineral line, and nothing here to defend it whatsoever. So just going to town on the SCVs. Let's see how many kills we got. 2 kills on him already. Looks like he's going to get at least 1 or 2 more, so up to 3. The Marines chasing after him, but just great control here by Avalo. Looping all the way around, he's going to spot the barracks. He's also going to spot pretty much the entire tech path. Looks like he's going to be finally caught by a Marauder, and the best death animation of all time. So, but what's important there is not only did he get a few free kills, the kills aren't even the point. He got a look at the 2 reactor barracks, the 2 tech lab barracks, as well as the 1 factory. So, he got a great idea of what his opponent's trying to do, and he's going to have a somewhat decent idea of exactly what he's going to be up against as we move forward. And as you can see now, he's planning down 2 more bunkers as a reaction to that. He saw how barracks heavy his opponent was, so he's going to get that defense up. It's going to be just in the nick of time. So Muffley's moving out now with a handful of Marines and a couple Marauders. So that Reaper scouting really just so crucial.
Oh yeah, with Avalo right now spending the money to get the cloak on the Banshees that are churning out right now. This is probably the best time for Muffley to try to make some sort of attack or try some sort of pressure right now, because Avalo doesn't have a whole lot of offensive defensive units at the moment. He's got that 1 bunker, and that's going to be his one saving grace here, because there's just not enough here for Muffley. There's really no upgrades or anything. He'll have stem here momentarily, so it's a good timing push for that. But I don't think it's going to be.
He's actually going to push earlier, so he's going to stick his nose up the ramp, going to lose the Hellion right away. And you could tell he was forcing the issue there. I think he had that planned out to be a timing push, but he felt weak after the Reaper saw exactly what he was doing. He knew the reaction was going to be there out of Avalo, and he tried to push a little bit too early, push before Concussive and Stem. Concussive and Stem have finished now, and Avalo going straight up to the Infernal Pre-Igniter as well as the Banshees again. So, it's certainly not what you would call the Iacoic build or anything like that, but it's that sort of TVT play style where you rely on so much the drop harassment and a few other things. So it looks like we've got a Banshee down here on the right trying to do a little harassment by Avalo. And this is exactly what we're talking about. You rely a lot on drops, a lot on Banshee harassment, and then you just kind of expand and expand and expand and make a billion tanks and push. And that really just suits Avalo's playstyle so well.
Oh, yeah, great job. 4 kills right there on that Banshee right there, going into that mineral line, cloaking up and everything, forcing the building of that missile turret right there. And it's just one of those things where you're taking an SCV off the line and you're making them spend 100 minerals on that missile turret. It's just one of those things that you got to do because you really got to keep somebody on the back foot, always in a defensive crouch, because the more defensive they get, the more offensive you can be.
And now 2 more Banshees are going to be moving up to the north. So while he was harassing down south, that just pulled the entire army of Avalo out of position. Excuse me, of Muffley out of position. Going to go to work now on the SCV. Is going to be just out of range and forcing all the SCVs to pull off. So much lost mining time. And really at this point, even if he doesn't kill a whole lot of SCVs, this is successful. He got the entire SCV line to pull. We see them being extremely micromanaged to try and keep them away from the firing range, all the Marines being pulled back, and just keeping his opponent from being able to sit back and macro up the way he wants. And Avalo, that's pretty much essential because he hasn't been keeping up in the macro race. Instead, he's gone up to factory tech, getting 4 factories down now, all of them going to have the tech labs, or excuse me, 1 reactor, so he's going to be doing a little Blue Flame Hellion action, but getting that 3rd command center as well. And this is really what the mobility of a build that is very Banshee-oriented, a little bit of bad control there actually by Avalo, losing both of those Banshees kind of for no real reason. But with a play style like this that is so reliant upon drops and using small amounts of units to abuse mobility, it allows you to try and take expansions first. But this is a decent, scary little push here out of Muffley. We don't really see any tanks here to defend. 1 tank out for Avalo as of right now. Okay, now joined by 2 of his brothers, but still no siege tech. So this could be kind of tough for Avalo to defend if the push comes anytime in the near future.
Oh yeah, we did see that those Hellions were doing a lot of scouting right there. Barely missed being seen by those roving Banshees there. So that was probably a very good thing for Muffley, a very lucky draw right there, because if they'd have been seen, they'd have been just absolutely decimated by those Banshees pretty quickly. But you see, Muffley right now putting on a little bit of a force, moving everybody out. At this point, I think he's just now getting his first medevac, and you really need to get those, because with those guys with the stem, that's probably one of your key instruments to try and not get your army completely wiped out in the first 5 seconds.
Right. Well, I think that's going to happen anyway. And really, this happened to Muffley last time. He missed his timing, and he's missed it now. The tank, look, it just amazes me. Look how quickly Avalo went from 1 tank to 3 tanks to now 9 tanks, all with siege tech, as well as a few Hellions and a few Banshees there to support. What is a Marine Marauder ball going to do other than just be splattered all over the sand if he tries to push up a ramp with just Marines and Marauders and 1 medevac?
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you. And with that amount of high ground vision that Avalo's going to have, plus he just threw down that sensor tower, he's going to see you coming. He's got it set up so he can easily see if there's going to be any backdrops, any elevatoring action. Very very good play right here out of Avalo. He is going to need to probably expand. As we see, he is building a command center right now for a 3rd expansion. He's got it ready right there. Because he is going to mine himself out of his main. Pretty shortly.
Yeah, and, just a few minerals left.
More. Right there, we just see a Seeker missile coming out now for Muffley. So I guess he's going to be using that as his ultimate defense for those Banshees.
A Seeker missile is one of those things that when you look at it, it seems like it has all the potential, like it's a really fun thing to use. But I don't think I've ever seen it used effectively once in any sort of a matchup. So Avalo pushing out now, throws on the money scan, and just look at the tank number, already up to 11. And this is how Avalo loves to play. He says, you know what, I don't need things that can shoot up. I've got 2 Vikings. That's enough for me. And immediately plants down that missile turret. And really, if you're familiar with Avalo at all, you watch him play or you have have watched him play in the past, once these turrets start going up in the middle of the map, you got to do something, because he will build 50 turrets in the middle and make an unbreakable siege line and then just wait you out and mine out his half of the map.
Yeah, and that is absolutely devastating to everybody, because not only is it going to take you an hour to try to get through there before you just get frustrated and make the charge, but you're just going to sit there and just let him build up the composition. That
all right, Avalo pushing in the enemy territory now, getting the siege down before the opponent can engage. He's going to get off one or two little pot shots, so great positional usage of the tanks there. Avalo gaining the ground without even taking any damage. So, and wow, I'm going to go ahead and throw down another missile turret this close to his opponent's side. So really inching in, and Muffley kind of screwed the pooch there a little bit by letting Avalo get in as close as he did without having any, dealing any damage in return. Now Avalo can just creep and leapfrog these tanks forward bit by bit, and there's not going to be a whole hell of a lot that Muffley can do about it.
Yeah, it's it's almost like watching like one of those old Civil War reenactments where you just see everybody line up, and then the smoke goes off, and all of a sudden like one line just dies.
Yeah, exactly. And this is just beautiful watching it. Just so smooth. Look, siege is up here. He's not going to do it. Oh, there's the seeker missile. Gonna do not a lot of damage. See, that's the problem with the seeker missile. I mean, look what it did. I mean, yeah, it did 50 damage. So. That did less than a third of and now look, and the mules come down the heel. So, yeah, that secret missile, the research time, the energy on the Raven, completely wasted. But really, I mean, what else? Oh, wow, now we're going to see these Marines goaded in and just absolutely evaporate there. Muffley way behind. He's been behind the entire game, almost 50 supply behind now. The Banshee's moving in to be annoying. Another seeker missile goes off, not even sure what happened to it. And really, this has got to be one of the most hopeless feelings in the world. It's like the zombies, man. How all the main characters feel in a zombie flick. It's just so slow, the creeping and crawling and inevitable onslaught. Muffley's facing that right now, and given that he has no tanks of his own, just going to go ahead and call the GG. So Avalo going to advance 2-0 over Muffley here in our IG LAN #1, brought to you by itsgosu.com.
You're absolutely right about that, AC. Go to itsgosu.com and see all the events that we got coming up. So many great things going on here. Yep. Thanks. Sorry, I was just getting a message there from Lucky Fool. So, so we got tons of stuff going on. Of course, tomorrow we have our King of the Hill, and then Monday our Beta Division is cranked back up again. And even with the holiday weekend, we're still going to keep on working, because that's just the kind of guys that we are. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to keep playing StarCraft 2.
Oh, yeah.
Keep having us, relatively employed, I guess, is the best way to call it. And again, we want to thank everybody for watching us live, watching us, or trying to chat with me in the chat there in the Justin TV. I'm having to reach a little bit more. But, AC, tell them about our sponsors, buddy.
Well, we are really fortunate, actually added a couple of sponsors for this event. This is the IG LAN event #1, brought to you by itsgosu.com, brought to you by Red Bull. Special thanks to them. The Red Bull chicks in their little backpacks dropped off a good amount of product, hung out here for a little while. And, of course, SteelSeries. SteelSeries has got some of the best keyboards, mice, whatever you need. Check them out online. Please. They support esports, so we want you to support them. And, of course, our standard round of sponsors, Hypocrite Games, cyberground.us. That's where we're at right now. That's where we are right this second. So if you happen to be in the Fairfax area, jump in the car. Or actually, before you jump in the car, check out cyberground.us online. Get directions, find them on a map, all that fun stuff, and head on down. Come see us, say hi to myself and the Red Mage. And, of course, Max Integration and San Yamabushi Jiu-Jitsu and combination Goju Ryu School of Self-Defense. You can find them at sanyamabushi-goju.com. So, by the way, if you're liking the tunes that you're hearing underneath right now, make sure you check them out online as well. HaloTopic.newgrounds.com, MySpace.com/Indigo League, and Ronald Jinkies at RonaldJinkies.com. Buy his album, Disorganized Fun. You're not going to regret it. One of the best albums I've ever heard. So, Red Mage, where we at, my friend? Who's coming up next?
Let's see, we're going to lock in a little with somebody else here as, Avalo is actually going to take on Orb right there. That's going to be pretty good.
Oh, that's going to be a great matchup.
See here, we got, we'll do Lucky Fool games. Oh, wraps up already? Okay. Are they going to invite us, or? Or okay, we'll host Typhon Peaks. Okay. Yeah, this is the joy of doing it live at the LAN event. We get to chit-chat with everybody in the...
Oh, exactly. Get to work with the players directly. So, by the way, thanks to everybody hanging out with us here in the stream and in the BattleNet chat.
For Travis. Make sure to thank Travis. for helping us out.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. I didn't know your name, man. I would have been happy to thank you. So how do you want to be identified, my friend? Torn what? Torn higher. Absolutely. So Torn Higher, special thanks to him and each and every person who's come out to help us in cyberground.us, Steel Series, Red Bull, and all of our other sponsors as well. So it looks like we're going to be moving in to watch Lucky Fool take on Sin 6. Not too familiar with him, but Lucky Fool, if you watch games at all or you're big into StarCraft, you know his name. Going to be competing at MLG coming up very, very soon. Just an amazingly...
Match? Star Life? I don't know about that. I'm going to have to ask him about that. Didn't really catch you up. Okay, I'm going to ask Travis. But I keep forgetting we're on the air. I keep forgetting. I keep the mute button.
You're coming through the stream, man. You've cut me off 2 or 3 times. It's just like I'm in the middle of trying to sound all professional, and you're like, oh, by the way, what about this thing that's... Yeah, exactly. We need to get you a mute button.
I know, man. I'll tell you.
Anyway, guys, we're half-assing it here. We're trying to make it look at least 3/4-assed, but half-assing we can do as well. So I'm AC, that's Red Mage JR, and it looks like we're going to be jumping into the game quite shortly. And Avalo looking so strong, and now moving on to Avalo, a favorite to win this event. He's a favorite to win just about every event he enters here at Cyberground. But his nemesis, actually, I would say Avalo's actually Lucky Fool's nemesis. The NRG Lucky Fool, the guy who has just had the worst luck in the world trying to bounce Avalo out of any event here at Cyberground. We're going to watch him take on Sin 6. Going to be moving into MLG Typhon Peaks. Typhon Peaks. I hate this map. Not going to lie. I hate it.
Just one of those oddball maps that you hope you never get, but it's in the map pool. It's in the MLG lineup, so it's one of those things that everybody wants to get a chance to practice on, play on it a little bit like that, because when they go to the events next week, it's one of those things. It's going to be in the map pool. You always got to make sure you're always prepared, and it's going to be a TVZ right here. So we're going to see your favorite kind of matchup right there.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
With the Casper Van Deens.
Oh yeah, I love TVZ so much, my friend. Yeah, the Casper Van Deens. I'm never going to forgive you from. It's not so much that I hate Casper Van Dien. I mean, he was in the absolute butchering of one of the best science fiction novels of all time. That's what it is. Okay, that's fine. He got a paycheck. That's fine. But what I hate you for is that I have to know his name. He couldn't just be the blonde guy from Starship Troopers anymore. You had to teach me his name, and now forever I'm going to think Casper Van Dien. Like that's going to be, yeah, I hate you for it. I hate you.
That's like Brussels being straddled with the birthplace of Jean-Claude Van Damme. It's just one of those things that it's just got to happen.
Yeah, I guess you'll have that from time to time. It's all right, man. It's all right. I've got, I'll drop some knowledge on you right back at you. Once again, I'm AC. That's Red Mage JR, and this is the IG LAN #1, brought to you by Gosu.com, by Red Bull, and by Steel Series. This is Sin 6 and NRG Lucky Fool. Lucky Fool, a favorite to win a lot of tournaments, including this one this evening. Probably going to run into his arch nemesis Avalo at some point in the near future. So,
game 2.
This is the second game, and as I understand it.
Sorry, Lucky Fool's up by one.
Okay.
You can talk. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I didn't mute myself.
Well, that's what I don't understand. It's like you lean over to whisper stuff to me. It's like, you can say that, man. you're on too. I don't have to say it.
See now, this is exactly what happens when you get the two of us together, which is complete chaos. When we're sitting in 2 different states, in 2 different,
right.
almost,
and it runs flawlessly.
You get to sit together, and it's like watching the old grumpy dudes from the Muppet Show. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Things just kind of go crazy. But we do want to, again, thank everybody for chat live. Sorry, I can't chat as much as I usually do because the laptop's really far away, and I don't want to keep kissing the microphone to reach over there. So And AC doesn't want to reach all the way across me to type. So if we're typing in there, we do apologize because we're not being as vocal as we usually are. But when you see that hatch come out now, it was a hatch first.
Yes, that was a hatch first build, and not terribly uncommon on a map like this on Typhon Peaks. Just so many little narrow areas that you got to move through. Really easy to keep tabs on your opponent. I mean, it's against a guy like Lucky Fool. Lucky Fool has always favored early aggression in all of his matchups, and I'm sure he's going to be doing the same thing here. I mean, if we see now, yeah, he's already got the reactor building on the barracks. He'll be switching that out with the factory and going straight up to Hellion play. So, you know, going hatch first isn't a bad move necessarily against that kind of early aggression, but you've got to defend it. You have to react quickly, and you have to be on top of your scouting so you can see exactly what's going on. And he's trying to do that. He pokes up, and now he's seen that reactor on the barracks, the factory going in behind. So he's going to know he's going to have to face Hellions, and he needs to get some queens out quickly. He's got 2 on the way. Great job. And really ought to tack on another couple of spine crawlers just to be safe. And it really wouldn't surprise me a bit to see, yeah, actually Starport in production now out of Lucky Fool. I bet we're going to see some Hellion Banshee.
Yeah, we're going to see, you know, because, Lucky Fool and Avalo both favor those quick drops of the Hellions, even though they don't go with a full Iacoic build. They do a great job just kind of, you know, dropping those Hellions in there, you know, and it's kind of cool to watch because, you know, when you think you got the plan, you're going down the road, and all of a sudden, like, something just flashes at you and you end up wrecking your car. It's kind of like trying to play against either one of those guys.
Did you just say when a chick flashes you, you end up wrecking your car? Was I zoned out there or something? It's like I'm listening to you speak, and it's like I'm listening, but I'm trying to, you know, just try and figure out exactly what's going to be coming out of both players here, and I just hear it's like when a chick flashes you and you end up wrecking your car. It's like, yeah, I guess you'll have that from time to time.
Happen, you know, it's when you it's when you have those weird situations. That's exactly what happens. You know, you're gonna wreck your car.
So anyway, looks like Sin 6 doing exactly what he needs to be doing right now. The Banshees are on the way for Lucky Fool, so no Cloak being researched at the moment, so not going to be overdoing it. And as soon as I say that, he throws it down, so Cloak going to be researched as well.
The Hellions right now up there at the top. I don't know if you can see that right there, just outside the natural, causing some minor inconveniences there for Scene 6.
Well, Sin 6 really doing a great job with the spread of these spine crawlers, really going to cut off the Hellions, you know, trying to move them in, take them around in a roundabout way to get into the back of the mineral line. He's got the Queen and the Lings there to try and defend if they do happen to get by. But, you know, Sin 6 did exactly what he needed to do. If you're going to go hatch first against a guy like Lucky Fool that you know loves to favor early aggression, you have to be dead on with your static defense, and he's done that, and he's going to be quite safe. And this actually creates a situation now as Lucky Fool moves his Banshee in and begins to go to work. 2 Queens down there to try and deal with that, so not going to be a whole hell of a lot that this Banshee's going to be able to do. Even once Cloak finishes, we see, well, actually the lair is going to be a little late, so he's going to have a little bit of a chance unless Sin 6, you know, and spawning the Banshee, he's going to have to know he needs to get down some Spore Crawlers. He's got a high Queen count, he's going to be fine in that area. But, you know, if Sin 6 can hold on here, Lucky Fool's going to have to press a little bit, because when you go straight up to Banshee and Hellions, you're wasting a lot of time on units that are more support units. They're not meat and potatoes units, which is what you're going to need to break a Zerg.
Oh yeah, and you know, with everything going, got to reset my screen there for a second. Now we see the Banshee's going to come right back in. Of course, as soon as I put the screen back up the normal way, of course that Banshee's going to go ahead and
had to get cute, didn't you? Had to get cute.
Had to get cute with it again, as all things happen whenever we try to get cute with something. And you know, now there's nothing to observe right now. So
wow, you know, these queens just walked through and didn't, you know, they couldn't shoot at it. I'm not sure what he was thinking. He walked him up. A good transfuse there is going to save the one. So this Banshee really causing a lot of trouble just because of how late this lair was in coming in. Overseer going to be done right about now, though. The Queen's getting into position. He's probably going to lose this Queen. Yeah, he's not going to be able to use a transfuse, so walking the little ladies underneath a little bit too early. Now having to pull the one back, but she's taking a lot of damage. And the thing is about a Banshee beats a Queen head up. Even, you know, cloaked or not, seen or not, it doesn't matter. A Banshee will beat one Queen. So finally going to be chased away. That one Queen doesn't have a whole lot left in the tank to try and defend, and all of these Hellions looks like they're actually able to goad out a few Zerglings there and lay them to waste. This other Banshee going to town now on the workers, and you know, this is just such the most frustrating feeling in the world, no matter what race you are. That feeling like you're getting literally harassed to death.
Oh yeah, and we see that you know, he's still stacking up units just outside the natural there. He's just letting them sit there, letting them just be like, okay, you know, we're just going to completely annoy you right now with those Banshees, and then you know, slowly move them in, and any sort of drones that he tries to put down there, and then finally the Queens show up to try to do some damage. And I think this is about the situation where you'd roll in with the other Banshee if it was still around. I think it might have gotten gotten killed. But yeah, right now you just see that they're just kind of camping out, and really while you're distracting your opponent.
I'll tell you what he needs to do. He needs to just run. He's got this pretty, I won't say gigantic, but a large, sizable Hellion count here. The Queens are out of position chasing the Banshees. Why doesn't he just run these right up the ramp? He has to know his opponent's got largely the larger part of his drone count was pulled all the way back to the main just because of the Banshee harass. And even if you lose 1 or 2 Banshees, if the Queens are out of position, you're going to have the speed advantage. Run up, and you have a chance to kill so many drones.
He's cat and mouse in him right now. It's almost like he's a bullfighter. He's got the I want to say flag, but it's not really a flag. Whatever it is, and he's like undulate. He moves it right out of the way, and all of a sudden the cape. Are going to come the cape, and they're going to come charging out, and then you just absolutely set everything on fire.
I'd love to see a Matador do that. Yeah, it's like it says Olay and then sets the entire Coliseum on fire. Yeah, that's something I'd pay to go see. So
the best David Blaine trick ever.
So Lucky Fool's tacked on. Lucky Fool's tacked on this Thor now, and the Hellion count just absurdly high. He has so many in the one Banshee. What are the Queens going to do? One round there almost takes one down. So really, Sin 6, he's been harassed to death. We're going to see him move along the edge now. The Queen's going to be pulled out. This is pretty much all he has to defend. It's way too late to try and react. We see 10 Zerglings. Yeah, there's the GG. So NRG Lucky Fool managing basically to harass himself to a 2-0 victory here at our IG LAN event #1, brought to you by itsgosu.com.
Oh yeah, great job there by Lucky Fool and Sen 6. I can never say that name right. The English language yet again eludes me. But yeah, we do want to thank everybody watching us live. Be sure to go to itsgosu.com to see the entire lineup of events that we have going on. 5 to 6 a week between now and the end of the year.
You can keep talking, man.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, I can't do two things at once. I'm trying to listen to Lucky Fool at the same time. It's all kinds of bad. So, all kinds of wacky stuff going on. But yeah, we're gonna try to pick up another matchup right here.